Over the past few weeks, I have shared every step of my ETF journey, from saving my first 100k to building over 150k through VOO and QQQ to learning how to stay calm through every crash. In this video, I am putting all in together, every lesson, every mistake, every mindset shift to show you how far I've come and where I am heading next. You work, you save, you do everything they told you to, but somehow your bank account never moves. You're not lazy, you're not careless, you're just stuck in a system that makes saving nearly impossible. So why does this happen? Hi, this is Austin. Welcome to my channel. Be honest with me. How much money do you have saved right now? For most people, the answer is not enough. And when I ask, what's your goal? They usually say, I just want to hit my first 100,000. But here's the truth. Saving 100k today feels way harder than it did for our parents. It's not just you, it's the system we live in. So in this video, I will break down why saving 100k is so difficult in today's world, what's actually holding you back, and how to reach that goal faster in a more practical way, without killing your social life or living off instant noodles. If that sounds good, let's jump in. Let's start with the obvious. The economy today is completely different from even a decade ago. And honestly, the math just doesn't add up anymore. Here are the reasons. First, wages haven't kept up with inflation. Incomes are rising on paper, but when you compare that to rent, food, or healthcare, you are actually worse off than someone making less 20 years ago. Here's the example. The average US income has grown about 30% in the past decade, but housing prices have gone up 17%, groceries up to 25%. Childcare and medical insurance don't even start. So, if you feel like your paycheck doesn't stretch as far as it used to, you're not bad with money. You're just living in 2025 America. Second, cost of living is out of control. Let's talk real numbers. In many major cities, New York, San Francisco, Austin, even Miami, rent alone can take 40 to 50% of your income. Add gas, groceries, insurance, subscriptions, student loans, and you are left wondering, where the hell did my paychecks go? And no, skipping Starbucks won't solve it. Your rent increase probably eats more money than a year's worth of coffee. You can't budget your way out of the broken economy. You need a strategy. Third, lifestyle inflation and social pressure. Now, even you do make decent money, there's the invisible pressure to live like it. You get a raise, so you upgrade your apartment, buy a nicer car, eat out more, travel more, and honestly, that's fine. You work hard and you want to enjoy it. But here's the problem. Every upgrade pushes your normal lifestyle higher, and your savings never catch up. Social media doesn't help either. Everyone's flexing. New car, Bali trip, home renovation. You feel behind if you are doing okay. So instead of saving, you start spending just to keep up. That's lifestyle inflation, and it's deadly for your bank account. Fourth, spending is easier than ever. Think about it. When was the last time you actually used cash? Today, it's one tap on your phone or one click online. Amazon remembers your car, your address, your preference. You don't even have to think, just buy. Companies spend billions optimizing the process to make spending frictionless. That's why it's hard to say no. Saving money today isn't just about discipline. It's about fighting an entire system built to make you spend. Fifth, no clear financial structure. Most people never learn how to manage money. Schools don't teach it, parents often avoid the topic, so we grow up thinking, I will just save what's left at the end of this month. Spoiler, there's never anything left. Without a clear plan, your money goes wherever your emotions take it. Before we dive into the how, let's talk about the mindset, because 80% of saving is mental, not mathematical. Here are also 3 points. First, the it's too big problem. When you hear 100,000, it sounds huge. Like, how can I ever get there when I am barely saving 200 a month? But here's the trick, break it down. If you save 1,000 a month, that's 12,000 a year. You will hit 100K in about 8 years without investing a single dollar. Now add a modest 7% annual return, and you'll get there in a closer to 5 or 6 years. Suddenly, it's not impossible, it's math. And math is predictable, your emotions aren't. Second, the I will start later trap. So many people think they will save when they make more. But if you don't manage 2,000 well, you won't manage 6,000 either. Saving isn't about the income level, it's about habit. The earlier you start, the easier it gets. Even small amounts matter. Compound growth rewards consistency, not perfection. The best time to start was yesterday, the second best time is right now. Third, emotional spending. Money is emotional. You buy to celebrate, to cope, to reward yourself after a hard week. But that great dopamine hits fast. What lasts longer is the confidence that comes from progress. The peace of mind knowing you are financially stable. That's the real rich feeling. Alright, let's get practical. Here's a realistic roadmap that actually works, whether you are making 40K or 120K a year. Step 1. Set a real goal and timeline. Don't just say, I want to save more. Say, I want to hit 100K by 30 or in 5 years. That gives your brain a target. Now you can reverse engineer it. 100K in 5 years equals 20K per year, equals 1,700 per month. If that sounds high, start smaller. 500, 800, whatever you can. The key isn't the number, it's the direction. Step 2. Automate everything. You will never save consistently if you only rely on willpower. The best savers remove the decision entirely. Set up an automatic transfers the day you get paid. Money goes straight to savings or investment. You spend what's left. This flip the script from save what's left to spend what's left after saving. It's simple, but it changes everything. Step 3. Build multiple income streams. You can only cut expenses so far, but you can always earn more. Start thinking about side income, freelancing, digital products, tutoring, part-time consulting, or online work. Even an extra 500 to 1,000 a month makes a massive difference when invested. That's your shortcut to 100K. You can't cut your way to wealth, you have to earn your way there. Step 4. Start investing now. Don't wait until you have extra money to invest. The day never comes. Start small, 100, 200, whatever fits. Use low-cost index funds or ETFs like VOO, BT, or QQQ. This tracks the market and grows steadily over time. You're not trying to beat the market, you are trying to ride it. Reinvest your dividends, ignore the noises, and stay consistent. That's how you build real wealth quickly. Step 5. Protect yourself from lifestyle creep. Every time you get a raise, decide in advance how much goes to spending and how much to savings. Use this rule. Enjoy 30%, invest 70%. You can upgrade your life and your future at the same time. Most people upgrade everything and wonder why their savings don't move. Don't be that person. Step 6. Track your progress monthly. What gets measured gets managed. Track your net worth every month. Add up savings, investments, and structured debt. Even seeing a progress grow from 2K, 4K, 6K keeps you motivated. You don't need fancy apps. A simple spreadsheet works. The key is consistency. Step 7. Control your environment. You are who you hang out with. If your circle spends every weekend flexing, savings will always feel boring. But if your circle talks about the business, side hustles, investing, savings feel normal. Unfollow influencers who make you feel behind. Follow people who inspire growth. Your mindset is your biggest financial asset. Here's the part nobody tells you. Once you hit your first 100K, everything changes. First, your mindset shifts. You start thinking differently. You are no longer chasing money, you are managing it. You stop asking, can I afford this? And start asking, will this make me wealthier? That's the shift from customer to investor. It's when you stop working for money and start letting money work for you. Second, compound growth kick in. Your money begins to grow faster than you can earn it. That's compounding. A 100K portfolio growing 7% adds 7,000 passively. At 200K, it's 14,000. At 500K, it's 35,000. Once you cross these figures, it's like gravity starts working for you instead of against you. Third, peace of mind. Money doesn't buy happiness, but it buys options. You can switch jobs, take time off, travel, help family, without that constant financial stress. That's a real reward, not luxury, but freedom. Why most people never reach 100K? It's not because they don't make enough. It's not because they don't care. It's because they never start soon enough, don't stick with too long enough, and give up when progress feels slow. Building your first 100K takes time. It's like rolling a snowball. The first few pushes are tough, but once it starts moving, it grows on its own. So let me ask you, how close are you to your first 100K? And what's been the hardest part? Saving, earning, or staying consistent? Drop a comment below and share your thought. I read every one of them. If you found this video helpful, hit that like button, subscribe, and check out my next video, where I will show you how to use simple ETF investing to make your savings grow automatically. Because remember, you don't just want to save 100K, you want to make that 100K start working for you. Thanks for watching. I'm Austin, and see you next time. I didn't get lucky. I didn't trade every day. I just keep buying two ETFs, VOO and QQQ, for years. And one day, I opened my account and saw 150,000. This is exactly how it happened. Hi, this is Austin. Welcome to my channel. I still remember when I checked my portfolio a few weeks ago and saw the number 150,000. No bells, no fireworks, no one cheering in the background. Just me, sitting on the chair and look at my phone, staring at the screen with this strange mix of disbelief and quiet pride. It wasn't luck, it wasn't timing of the market, it was years of showing up, buying a little bit of VOO and QQQ month after month, even when the market looked terrifying. And in this video, I want to share exactly how I got there, how I earned my first 150K. Only sold these two ETFs, not because I am a genius, but because I learned how to stay patient when everything else around me said panic. When I first started investing over 10 years ago, I will be honest, I didn't know much. I'd watch stock tips on YouTube, read articles about the next big thing, and somehow always end up buying high and selling low. It felt exhausting. Until a few years ago, I came across something so simple. It almost sounded boring. VOO and QQQ. VOO, the S&P 500 ETF, a basket of America's 500 biggest companies, and QQQ, the Nasdaq 100 ETF, mostly tech, growth, innovation. They weren't exciting like Tesla or Nvidia. They didn't promise 10x growth in a year, but they did promise something better: the ability to quietly build wealth, as long as I stay consistent. So I made a decision. No more chasing stocks, no more guessing. From that day, I started buying only VOO and QQQ and I never stop it. Control. I invest on a brokerage account and I keep it simple. Every month I deposit money, split between VOO and QQQ, and I buy no matter what the market is doing. It doesn't matter if prices are up, down, or the headlines are screaming recession. I buy anyway. That's my rule. Some months it hurts, especially when the market is crashing, and my balance looks smaller than the month before. But I remind myself, I'm not here for this month. I'm here for the next 10 years. That's how I treat every deposit, like a tiny seed I plant today, so that one day I can sing under the shade of a forest I built. When I first started, it honestly felt like nothing was happening. I'd buy VOO, buy QQQ, watch the charts move up and down, and after a year, maybe I was 1,000. It didn't feel like progress. And that's the hardest part, because most people give up right here. They think, this is working, it's too slow. But that's the trick about long-term investing. It's boring before it gets beautiful. For a long time, it feels like you are just treading water. You are contributing money, but your portfolio barely moves. And then, almost quietly, something changes. Your bets grow, your dividends start reinvesting, you hit your first 50K, then 80Ks. And suddenly, the compounding you used to hear about starts to show up in your real life. I used to check my account every day. It was like an obsession. If the market went up, I feel great. If it dropped, my mood dropped too. But somewhere along the way, I realized that I wasn't investing, that was reacting. So I stopped watching daily movement. Now I only check my portfolio once a month, on the day I deposit and buy more shares. That single change did more for my mental health than any market gain ever could. Because when you stop staring at the short term, you finally start to see a long term. People often ask me, why only VOO and QQQ? Don't you want to diversify more? And I get it, diversification is important. But for me, these two are diversified enough. VOO gives me exposure to the board of US economy. Banks, healthcare, manufacturing, energy, all the big steady names. And QQQ gives me innovation. Companies building in the future, Apple, Microsoft, Google, Amazon, Nvidia, together they balance each other out. One's steady, one's fast, one gives me stability. One gives me stability and other gives me growth. They are like two engines on the same plane. When one slows down, the other keeps me moving. And over time, that balance carried me to my first 150K. Let's be real. This journey wasn't smooth. There were times I questioned everything. When the market crashes, when my portfolio dropped by $20,000 or $30,000, it felt like all my efforts was gone overnight. And every time that happened, my brain said, maybe this time is different, maybe you should sell. But every time I didn't sell, every time I held, the market eventually come back. That's when I truly learned what people mean when they say time in the market beats time in the market. Because every recovery feels like the proof that patience pays. I didn't have to predict the next boom, I just have to survive the next dip. There's a myth that to make big money, you have to take big risks. But my experience was the opposite. I didn't chase meme stock or crypto hype. I didn't buy 10 new companies every month. I did something boring and boring worse. The truth is, you don't need to be exciting to be effective. You just need to be consistent. My portfolio grew not because I was smart, but because I was patient. And that's something anyone can do. No special skill required. The day I crossed 150K, it didn't feel like a lottery win. It felt like quiet validation. I remember thinking, so this is what consistency looks like. Every deposit, every moment I resist to urge to sell, every body month I keep buying. All of that led here. And that's where I clicked for me. Wealth doesn't show up suddenly, it builds quietly underneath your daily life until one day you finally notice how far you have come. Here are 4 lessons I learned. Lesson 1, you don't need to be perfect. You just need to keep going. There were months I couldn't invest much. Some months I skipped entirely. But I always come back. Consistency beats intensity. Lesson 2, ignore the noises. The market always has something scary to say, but I have learned to separate information from emotion. If I had sold every time the news sounded bad, I'd probably still be stuck at 20K. Lesson 3, simplicity scales. The more I simplified, fewer ETFs, fewer decisions, the easier it became to stay disciplined. VOO and QQQ were enough. They gave me all the exposure I needed without overwhelming me. Lesson 4, patience compounds faster than money. Every time I waited for a downturn, every time I didn't react, I gained something more valuable than profit. I gained peace. The peace is the lesson I could hold through the next dip and the next one after that. Once you hit around 100K, something changes. Your money starts growing faster than your contributions. You realize you're not the only one doing the work anymore. Your money is now working with you. That's when I start seeing my account grow by thousands in a single month. Not because I invested more, but because compounding finally kicks in. It's like pushing a snowball up a hill for years and suddenly it starts rolling on its own. That's the moment when long-term investing feels real. People often ask me about my ratio or how to balance VOO and QQQ. I don't follow the perfect formula. Sometimes it's 60% VOO, 40% QQQ. Other times it's closer half and half. If I want a little sure stability, I lean into VOO. If I feel comfortable with more growth, I add QQQ. But I never go all in or all out. I treat it like parents. I treat it like partners, each one playing its role. And the flexible balance helps me stay calm through every market cycle. Now I have reached 150K. It's easy to look back and think, wow, that wasn't so bad. But when you're in it, it feels endless. That's why I try to remind myself and anyone watching this, don't judge your progress too early. You're not behind, you're just in the middle of your journey. The results won't show up quickly, but they do show up if you keep going. So, what's the next for me? Nothing dramatic. I'm doing exactly what I've been doing all along. Keep investing, keep holding, keep showing up. I don't plan to sell my VOO or QQQ anytime soon, but now I understand. This isn't about hitting a number, it's about building a system that works for life. 150K was a milestone, but it's not the finish line. It's just the beginning of the real compounding. If you're watching this and wondering, can I really do it too? The answer is yes, absolutely yes. You don't need a finance degree. You don't need to time the market. You just need time in the market. Keep your plan simple. Stay consistent, buy, hold, repeat, because one day you will open your brokerage app and see a number that once felt impossible. And when that day comes, you will realize it wasn't about predicting the future, it was about believing your own patience. So that's how I earned my first 150K only through VOO and QQQ. No trading, no gambling, no get rich quick, just steady investing month after month. If you're on this journey too, I want to hear from you. Drop a comment below, tell me where you are right now and what your biggest challenge has been. And if you found this useful, make sure to like this video and subscribe, because next time I will show you how I plan to make my first 150K start earning even more. Thanks for watching, and remember, the market rewards those who stay. I'm Austin, and see you next time. After reaching my first 150K, I could have stopped, but the truth is I didn't want to, because VOO and QQQ didn't just like make me money. They gave me something way more powerful, a system that gave me peace, purpose, and direction. Hi, this is Austin. Welcome to my channel. In my last video, I shared how I earned my first 150k only by investing in VOO and QQQ. But today, I want to talk about something even more important, why I keep investing in them. Because for me, VOO and QQQ are just investments. They have become part of my mindset. They have shaped how I see money, how I plan my future, and honestly, how I live my life. This isn't about hitting the next number. It's about building something that lasts. It's about freedom, confidence, and peace of mind. So in this video, I want to share the real reasons why these two ETFs are so important to me, and why I will keep investing in them for the rest of my life. When I first started investing, everything felt confusing. One day it was about crypto, the next day it was some hot new stock. Everyone had a different strategy, and I kept jumping between ideas, trying to find what worked. But nothing gave me clarity, nothing gave me peace, until I decided to focus on just two things, VOO and QQQ. That was the turning point. Because suddenly, I didn't have to guess anymore. It wasn't chasing the next big things. It was building my foundation. Slowly, quietly, consistently. VOO gave me stability, QQQ gave me growth. Together, they gave me balance. And the balance changed everything. It told me that the real wealth isn't built through chaos. It's built through calm repetition. Let's be real. Most people quit investing because they overcomplicate it. They are constantly switching strategies, checking charts, trying to beat the market, and when it doesn't work, they burn out. But with VOO and QQQ, I don't have to overthink anything. I just keep buying month after month and let time to do heavy lifting. That simplicity is powerful because the less you need to decide, the more likely you will stay consistent. For me, investing becomes automatic, almost like brushing my teeth. I don't have to think about it. I just do it. And that's the beauty of it. It's simple, but it's unstoppable. Here's something I didn't expect when I started investing. VOO and QQQ didn't just help my finances, they helped my emotions. Before, every time the market dipped, I felt anxious. Every red day felt like a setback. But now, when the market drops, I see it as an opportunity, a chance to buy more shares at a discount. That small shift turned fear into calm and straight into strategy. VOO and QQQ give me emotional stability. They told me that the slow growth is still growth, that you don't need to win every day to win in the long run. They made me patient, and patience, that's a real skill most investors never master. Investing in VOO and QQQ didn't just grow my portfolio, it changed my lifestyle. When you start seeing your money work for you, your entire mindset about spending changes. You start asking, what can I buy? And start asking, what can I build? Every purchase now has a contest, because I know what some money could become if I invest in it instead. And the funny thing is, this mindset doesn't make life smaller, it makes it freer. I don't feel guilty when I spend now because I know my system is working in the background. I'm building even while I'm living. That's kind of balance most people never get to experience. My goal isn't just to grow my portfolio, it's to create a life where money supports me, not controls me. And VOO and QQQ are the tools that make that possible. I'm not trying to beat the market anymore. I'm trying to be it long enough for it to remove my patience. Because the truth is, you don't need to pick the next Apple or Nvidia, you just need to win them. And that's exactly what these ETFs led me to do. The longer I hold them, the more I realize this is the most peaceful way to grow wealth. No gambling, no guessing, no sleepless nights, just quiet progress month after month. Every time I invest now, I don't see it as a spending money. I see it as a buying time for my future self to have freedom, time for my goals to breathe, time for my effort to multiply. And that's what makes investing in VOO and QQQ so important to me. They remind me that every dollar is a seed. Some seeds grow fast, some grow slow. But if you keep planting, the forest will come. And when the forest starts to grow, you realize something powerful. It's not just about money you made, it's about the person you become along the way. Someone patient, someone disciplined, someone who can play the long game. That's what this journey taught me, and it's the lesson that goes far beyond investing. If you have been watching this and thinking, maybe I should start investing too, I want to say this: do it. Start small, stay consistent, pick something simple that makes sense to you. For me, that's VOO and QQQ. For you, it might be something else. But whatever it is, commit to it. Because the hardest part isn't finding the right investment. It's staying consistent long enough to see it work. And when you do, you will understand what I mean. That investing is just about building a wealth. It's about building you. Your patience, your confidence, your peace. I don't know what the next milestone will be. Maybe 250k, maybe 500k. But what I do know is this: I'm not stopping. Because investing in VOO and QQQ has given me something far more valuable than money. It's given me control. Control over my time, my emotion, and my future. And that's why investing in them will always be important to me. Not because they made me rich overnight, but because they made me disciplined, focused, and free. So wherever you are right now, just start. You don't need to be everything. You just need to keep showing up, because in the end, the market doesn't reward perfection. It rewards passions. And that's something we can all build, one share at a time. I'm Austin, and see you next time. VOO and QQQ are incredible ETFs, but if you're not careful, even this can fail you. In this video, I am going to show you 5 simple mistakes that quietly ruin most people's results, and how you can avoid every single one. Hi, this is Austin. Welcome to my channel. If you have been following my journey, you already know how much I believe in long-term investing, especially through VOO and QQQ. They have completely changed the way I build wealth. But here's the thing, just owning them isn't enough. Because even the best investments can turn into bad results if you don't handle them in the right way. And I have seen it happen. People who start with great intentions, who buy VOO and QQQ just like I did, but end up losing money or giving up because of a few small mistakes. So today, I want to talk about 5 things that can ruin your VOO and QQQ results, 5 traps I have either fallen into myself or seen others fall into, and more importantly, how to avoid them, because avoiding mistakes is just as powerful as doing the right things. Let's start with the first one, checking your portfolio too often. I know it feels harmless. You open your app just to see how it's doing, but then you see red numbers, and suddenly your emotions take over. You feel anxious, you start second guessing your plan, and before you know it, you are reacting instead of investing. I used to do this all the time. Every morning, before I even have the coffee, I'd check my account balance. If it was green, I feel proud. If it was red, I feel like a failure. But that habit slowly burned me out. I realized I was letting short-term noises control my long-term decisions. That's when I made a rule for myself. I only check my portfolio once a month on the day I added my next contribution. That one simple habit changed everything. Because now, I am not reacting to daily swings, I am focused on progress, not perfection. If you are investing in VOO or QQQ, remember this: the market doesn't pay you for watching your screen, it rewards you for waiting. So check less, invest more, and let time do the work. The second thing that can ruin your results is trying to time the market. This one is tricky because it feels so logical. You think, why to buy now? Maybe price will drop next week. But the truth is, nobody, not even professionals, can consistently time the market. And waiting for the perfect entry is often the most expensive mistake of all. I remember a friend of mine who keeps saying, I will start investing when the market pulls back. That was in 2018. Then, in 2019, he said the same thing. Then again in 2020. Until now, he is still waiting. Meanwhile, I just keep buying every month, through ups, through downs, and my portfolio keep growing. If I had tried to time every correction, I would miss years of compounding. The lesson here is simple. Don't wait for the perfection time. Just make your time advantage. Because VOO and QQQ are not designed for perfect entry point. They are designed to deliver long-term consistency. So start asking when should I invest, and start asking how long can I stay invested. That's where the real growth happens. The third mistake, and maybe the most damaging one, is stopping your investments when the market drops. I get it, it's scary. Seeing your portfolios go down can feel like watching your hard work disappear. But here's the truth. Those are the moments that make you rich. I have lived through market dips. There were months when my balance dropped by tens of thousands. And yes, it hurt, but I didn't stop. Because I realized the share I was buying during these times were actually my biggest opportunity. When the price falls, your regular contributors buy more shares. And those extra shares are what drive massive growth later. It's like buying your favorite product when it's on sale. You wouldn't start shopping because it's cheaper. So why start investing? The biggest returns in VOO and QQQ come from staying calm when everyone else is panicking. That's how wealth is transferred from the impatient to the patient. So the next time the market drops, don't freeze. Don't pause your pen. Keep buying because future you will thank you for it. Now, let's talk about mistake number 4, over-diversifying or chasing too many ETFs. This one happens all the time. You start with VOO and QQQ, you are doing great. But then you see a video about another ETF that looks exciting. So you buy them too. Then another one, then another. Before you know it, you are holding 10 ETFs and don't really understand what any of them do. That's what's me in the beginning. I used to think more ETFs mean more safety, but what I actually got was more confusion. I'd spend hours comparing performance, wondering which one to sell, and worrying if I made the wrong choice. It made investing stressful again and slowed down my results. So when I'm back to the basics, just VOO and QQQ. That's it. Because these two already give me global exposure to innovation and stability from the US economy. I don't need 10 ETFs to build wealth. I just need consistency with the right ones. So, if you ever feel tempted to add another ETF just to diversify, ask yourself, are you really managing risks or just managing fear? Because simplicity is often the most powerful from our discipline. And finally, mistake number 5, the silent killer of compounding, quitting too early. This is the hardest one to spot because it doesn't happen overnight. It happens slowly. When you get tired, when life gets busy, or when progress feels invisible, you start thinking, what's the point? This isn't growing fast enough. I have felt that too. There was a period early on when my returns looked small, and I wondered if it was even worth it. But then I remember something Warren Buffett once said, compounding is like planting trees. You don't see them grow day by day, but one day you look back, there's a forest. So I stayed, I keep planting, and eventually that forest appeared, 150,000 strong, with one contribution at a time. That's when I realized most people don't fail because they pick out the wrong ETFs. They fail because they start too soon. They walk away right before the compounding starts doing the heavy lifting. So, don't stop. Even if the growth feels slow, even if your balance is exciting yet, stay consistent. Because the magic of VOO and QQQ only shows up for those who give it time. Let's quickly review the 5 things that can ruin your VOO and QQQ results. Number 1, checking your portfolio too often. It creates stress and bad decisions. Number 2, trying to time the market. You will miss the best days and kill your compounding. Number 3, stopping during market drops. That's when the best opportunities appear. Number 4, over-diversifying or chasing new ETFs. Keep it simple, keep it focused. And number 5, quitting too early. The biggest reward only comes from those who stay long enough to see that. If you can avoid these 5 things, your result will take care of themselves. Because VOO and QQQ don't require perfection, they require patience. When I look back, every mistake I made taught me something valuable. Checking too often taught me to be patient. Trying to time the market taught me to trust consistency. Pausing during drops taught me courage. Over-diversifying taught me the power of simplicity. And staying the course taught me what real conviction feels like. All of these lessons become part of who I am today as an investor. And that's why I love this journey, because it's not just about building wealth, it's about building yourself. VOO and QQQ are just like tickers on the screen to me. They are reminders that patience still wins, discipline still matters, and time is still your greatest ally. So, whenever I invest now, I think of this way. I am not buying shares, I am buying freedom, freedom to live, to choose, to breathe without financial stress, and that's what I want for you too. So those are 5 things that can ruin your VOO and QQQ results, and how to avoid them. If you're investing right now, take this as a friendly reminder. Your results aren't just about what you buy. They are about what you don't do. Don't overreact, don't time the market, don't give up. Stay consistent, stay calm, and your future self will look back one day and thank you for it. If this helped you, let me know in the comments which of these 5 mistakes do you think you have made before. And if you want to keep building your investing mindset with me, make sure to like this video and subscribe, because next time I will share how I am preparing my portfolio for the next decade of investing. Thanks for watching, and remember, the market doesn't reward those who react, it rewards those who stay. I'm Austin, and see you next time. I have been investing in VOO and QQQ for years, and it helped me build a strong foundation. But now I'm thinking ahead the next 10 years. In this video, I will show you how I am preparing my portfolio to keep growing through anything the market throws at us. Hi, this is Austin. Welcome to my channel. After years of investing in VOO and QQQ, I have learned one thing very clearly. You don't build wealth overnight, you build it by staying in the game long enough. These 2 ETFs helped me grow my first 150K, and now I am preparing for the next 10 years, because if the past decade taught me patience, then the next decade is about preparation. So, in this video, I want to share exactly how I am preparing my VOO and QQQ portfolio for the next 10 years, what I am keeping the same, what I am improving, and how I am making sure my investments keep working no matter what the market does. This isn't about predicting the future, it's about being ready for it. Before we talk about the next 10 years, let's take a quick look at what worked and what didn't in the last one. When I first started investing, I didn't know much. I was chasing trends, reacting to headlines, and trying to beat the market. Eventually, I realized the truth. No one beats the market by guessing. You win by owning it consistently. That's when I focused on just 2 ETFs. VOO, which tracks S&P 500, and QQQ, which represents the Nasdaq 100. VOO gave me stability, QQQ gave me growth, and together they gave me peace of mind. That combination worked incredibly well over the years. Even during market drops, I stayed invested and keep buying. And that's exactly why my portfolio grew. But now, I'm not just thinking about the next year, I'm thinking about the next decade. And that's me preparing differently, mentally, financially, and strategically. Here's the first thing I realized. The next 10 years won't look like the last 10. Market will rise, fall, and surprise us in ways we can predict. There will be new technologies, different interest rates, and global shifts that no one sees coming. But that doesn't scare me, because my plan isn't based on prediction, it's based on preparation. My 10-year philosophy is simple. Stay invested, stay consistent, stay calm. I'm not trying to guess where the next bull market will start. I'm building a system that works in any market. For me, that means focusing on things I can control. How much I can invest each month, how I react when prices move, and how disciplined I stay with my process. If I do these 3 things well, the market will take care of the rest. Let's talk about how I am structuring my VOO and QQQ portfolio for the next 10 years. Right now, my setup is simple, 80% VOO and 20% QQQ. That balance feels right for me. VOO gives me broad exposure to the US economy, while QQQ gives me a strong focus on tech and innovation. Could I go heavier on QQQ for higher growth? Sure. But I have learned that stability is just as important as performance. Because the more stable your plan feels, the easier it is to stick with it long term. Here's how I am managing it. 1. Automatic contributions every month. No emotions, no guessing. My broker transfers at a fixed amount into VOO and QQQ automatically. 2. No selling. I'm not touching this for at least a decade. Every share I buy is meant to stay there and keep compounding. 3. Dividend reinvestment turned on. That way, every time I earn dividends, they buy more shares for me automatically. It's boring, I know. But boring is exactly what makes it work. This structure might not be flashy, but it's strong enough to handle any kind of market. Now, let's be honest, the next 10 years won't be smooth. There will be corrections, recessions, and times when everyone say, maybe this time is different. So I am preparing for that too. My approach is this. I expect volatility and I plan around it. I keep a small cash buffer equal to about 6 to 3 months for living expenses. That's not for investing, that's for peace of mind. Because when you know your bills are covered, you don't panic when the market drops. You keep buying. I also remind myself, volatility isn't danger, it's opportunity. When the market falls, my contribution buy more shares. And when it rises again, these extra shares compound faster. So instead of asking, when will it drop? I ask, am I ready to stay invest when it does? That's the real preparation. Over time, one ETF might grow faster than the other, and that's completely normal. If QQQ outperforms, my portfolio could drip to 50-50, or even 45-50 between VOO and QQQ. That's when I rebalance, but I don't do it emotionally, I do it strategically. Here's my rule. I check my allocation once a year. If it's off by more than 5%, I rebalance by buying more of one that's underweighted. For example, if QQQ grows fast and becomes 50% of my portfolio, I will direct my next few monthly contribution more toward VOO until it evens out again. No selling, no panic, just small adjustments. Let's keep my portfolio stable and aligned with my long-term goals without triggering taxes or overthinking. As I look at the next decade, I want both growth and resilience. VOO gives me exposure to solid, dividend-paying companies. QQQ gives me exposure to innovation, companies shaping the future. That combination means I don't need to chase yield or pick risky stocks. My income will grow naturally through dividends and price appreciation. And here's something I remind myself often. Growth without income feels risky. Income without growth feels slow. But together, they build freedom. That's why I will keep holding both ETFs for at least another 10 years, letting them balance each other. This is maybe the most important part, my mindset, because no strategy works if your emotions don't match it. Here's how I am preparing mentally for the next 10 years. 1. Accept boredom. Compounding looks slow before it looks powerful. I am okay with that. 2. Ignore short-term noises. I will keep my news intake limited, just enough to stay informed, not enough to get scared. 3. Trust the math. The longer I stay invested, the smaller short-term volatility becomes. 4. Think in decades, not days. I'm not chasing this year's best return. I'm chasing my 10-year outcome. This small mindset shift protect me from my own worst impulses. Because the truth is, investing success isn't just about picking the right ETFs. It's about becoming the kind of person who can hold them for 10 years without losing faith. Let's be real. The next decade will be full of surprise. New technologies, AI breakthroughs, inflation cycles, political shifts, and recessions. They will all come and go. But here's how I am preparing. I'm not building a portfolio that relies on prediction. I'm building one that survives changes. Because when you own VOO, you own the strongest companies in the US economy, the ones that adapt and evolve. And when you own QQQ, you own the innovators that one's creating the future. So, no matter how the company changes, I will always have exposure to both stability and innovation. Let's not lock, let's design. Consistency builds results, but habit protect them. Here's how I plan to stay consistent for the next decade. 1. Monthly investing routine. I treat investing like a paying the bill, non-negotiable, automatic, and consistent. 2. Quarterly check-in. Once every 3 months, I spend about 10 minutes reviewing my contributions and dividends. Not performance, just consistency. 3. Annual reflection. Once a year, I review how I handle emotions, not just returns. Did I panic? Did I stay patient? That reflection helped me grow as an investor. 4. No comparison. I don't compare my result to other online because everyone's journey and timing are different. These small habits keep me grounded and focused, not distracted by short-term noises. At the end of the day, this plan isn't just about money, it's about freedom. My goal isn't to retire early or hit a certain number. It's to live a life where my finance don't control me. VOO and QQQ help me do that. They make my money grow quietly in the background, so I can focus on living. That's why I am not in a rush. I don't need to beat the market, I just need to stay in the market. Because over 10 years, consistency outperforms panic every single time. And when I reach the next milestone, whatever number it is, I will know it wasn't luck, it was preparation. So that's how I am preparing my VOO and QQQ portfolio for the next 10 years. It's not about getting the next big thing, it's about setting out a system that can grow through everything. My plan is simple. Keep investing, keep rebalancing, keep learning, and most importantly, keep waiting. Because the next decade will reward the patient, the disciplined, and the prepared. If you have been investing in VOO and QQQ too, I'd love to know how are you preparing for the next 10 years. Let me know in the comments below. And if this video helped you, hit that like button and subscribe because I will be sharing more about how I am planning to make this next decade and the most productive one yet. Thanks for watching, and remember, you don't need to predict the future, you just need to prepare it. I'm Austin, and see you next time. I have been investing in VOO and QQQ for years now, and they have changed my financial life. But lately, I have been thinking about something new, when it's the right time to take profit. Not out of fear, but out of purpose. In this video, I will share how I will know when it's time to take profit, and what that really means for a long-term investor like us. Hi, this is Austin. Welcome to my channel. I have been investing in VOO and QQQ for years now, and if you have watched my earlier videos, you already know how much these two ETFs have shaped my financial journey. They helped me build my first 150K. They taught me patience, discipline, and consistency, and they have become the foundation of how I invest. But there's one question I still get all the time. When are you going to take profit? It's a fair question, because if we are investing for long term, there's still going to come a day when we need to take money out. So today, I want to talk about something that most long-term investors don't discuss enough. How I will know it's time to take profit from VOO and QQQ. Not because I am scared of losing money, not because of market noises, but because I have reached a point where taking profit actually serves the purpose. First, let's make one thing clear. Taking profit doesn't mean selling everything. For me, it's not about timing the top, it's about realigning with my goals. When I think about taking profit, I'm not thinking about calling the peak of the market. I'm thinking about whether my money is now better used for something else. Maybe that's paying off a home. Maybe it's creating cash flow for early retirement. Or maybe it's simply reducing risks when I have already achieved my target. Taking profit, to me, is the real sign of fear. It's a sign of progress. It means my investors have done their job. They have grown, they have compounded, and now it's time to move from growth to use. I'll be honest with you. I have felt the temptation to sell many times. There were moments when QQQ was hitting new highs, and I thought maybe I should lock in some gains. I remember one time vividly. It was during one of the market runs where every day felt unstoppable, and I caught myself thinking, what if it crashes tomorrow? The fear almost made me sell, but I didn't because I reminded myself that same fear existed every year since I started investing, and every single time the market recovered and went higher. If I had sold back then, I would have missed the compounding that turned those early gains into something much bigger. That experience taught me something important. It's easy to take profit out of fear, but the best investors take profit out of purpose. So, how will I know when it's truly time to take profit from VOO and QQQ? It comes down to one question. Will taking profit move me closer to my goals or further away? If the answer is closer, then I will do it. If it's just an emotional reaction, then I won't. Because the truth is, every sale has two parts. The moment you sell and what you do after. If your selling doesn't give you your money a better purpose, like funding a goal, security freedom, or improving your peace of mind, then it's just emotional noise. And emotional noise is the enemy of compounding. Over the years, I have thought carefully about what kind of situations would make me actually take profit, and I have narrowed it down to 3. 1. When my life's goal needs it. The first is simple. If my investments can directly fund a life goal, then I will take profit. That could be buying a property, funding a move, or building a small business that gives me more freedom. Because at that point, the money isn't just sitting there, it's working for me in a new way. It's fulfilling the very person I started investing in the first place, to build options, not just numbers. I am not against selling if it creates meaningful changes in my life. That's not losing an investment, that's completing a mission. 2. When my allocation gets too unbalanced. The second reason I take profit is when my portfolio becomes too unbalanced. Let's say QQQ goes much faster than VOO and suddenly it makes 70% of my portfolio. At that point, I might trim it slightly. Not because I think QQQ will crash, but because I want to manage my risk. That is why I call trimming, not timing. I'm not exiting the position, I'm just restoring balance. By taking a bit of profit from the overgrown side and redirecting it back into VOO or cash, I protect myself from being too dependent on one type of market behavior. It's a small action, but it keeps my portfolio healthy and intentional. 3. When my risk profile or life stages changes. And the third reason is if my personal situation changes. Maybe I reach a stage where I need more stability than growth, or I want to create cash flow instead of pure accumulation. In that case, taking some profit from QQQ or maybe shifting more into VOO or even a dividend ETF could make sense. Because as your life changes, your investment goal should change with it. I don't want to hold something aggressively if my real goal becomes perceiving wealth, not building it. So taking profit then isn't about fear of the market. It's about aligning with life's next chapter. Now let's talk about the times I wouldn't take profit. Because honestly, knowing when not to sell is even more important. I wouldn't take profit just because the market is at an all-time high. That's when most people sell, and most of them regret it later. I wouldn't sell because of bad headlines, recessions, or temporary corrections. Those moments are painful, but they are part of the process. And I definitely wouldn't sell because I am bored or impatient. That's something I have seen happen a lot. People who get tired of slow growth, so they cash out and chase something new. But the impatience is exactly what destroys compounding. VOO and QQQ have proven for decades that the time rewards those who stay. So, unless one of my 3 earlier reasons apply, I'm not touching my core holdings. Because in long-term investing, doing nothing is often the most powerful move you can make. When that day comes, when it really is time to take profit, I already know how I will do it. First, I will do it gradually. Never at all once. If I take a profit from a goal, I will withdraw in steps, maybe 5% or 10% at a time, so I don't lose the benefit of staying invested. Second, I will do it intentionally. Every dollar I take out will have a plan before it leaves. If it's for major goal, it goes into a high yield account or a stable asset. If it's to reduce risks, it will be allocated, not spent. And third, I will do it calmly. No panic, no rushing, because profit taking should feel like a progress, not relief. Let me share one small story. A few years ago, I almost saw a big part of my portfolio. The market had gone up sharply, and I told myself, maybe I should be smart and lock in gains. It felt logical at the time. But looking back, I realized it wasn't logic. It was emotion disguised as logic. I was scared of losing what I gained. Thankfully, I didn't sell, because only a few months later, these same investors went on to grow even more. That moment changes me. It reminded me that the real maturity in investing is just about knowing when to buy. It's knowing when to do nothing. Taking profit is fine when it's tied to purpose. But when it's tied to fear, it almost always leads to regret. So here's how I look at the profit now. Profit is not an event, it's a signal. It's a reminder that the system works, the patience pays off. But it's also a test, because every gain asks you the same question. Do you trust the process enough to keep going? When I see my portfolio hit new heights, I don't rush to sell anymore. Instead, I ask, does this change my goals? If the answer is no, I just keep going. That's how I knew I have finally built an investor's mindset. I am not chasing outcomes, I am managing alignment. So, when will I know it's truly time to take profit? Honestly, it won't be when markets are at the peak. It will be when I reach a peak, a point in life where taking profit gives me more freedom than holding on. When investing turns from growth into peace. When my portfolio becomes the tool that funds my life instead of being the project that defines it. That's when I will know it's time. And even then, I won't leave the market. I will simply shift from building wealth to using wisely. If you're watching this and wondering when to take profit yourself, my answer is simple. You will know when your goals tell you, not the market. Don't sell because of fear. Don't sell because someone online said the top is in. Sell when your purpose changes, because in the end, profit isn't the finish line, it's the checking point. It's the moment when your money starts working for you, not just with you. So until that day comes for me, I will keep holding, keep buying, and keep trusting the process. Because the market doesn't reward those who react. It rewards those who prepare, those who stay calm, and those who understand that patience isn't weakness, it's strategy. Thanks for watching, and remember, you don't need to sell to succeed. You just need to keep growing until your money finally serves your life, not the other way around. I'm Austin, and see you next week. If VOO or QQQ crash again, and one day they will, I already know what I'm going to do. I'm not going to panic, I'm not going to sell. I'm going to follow the same plan as carried me through every crash so far. In this video, I will show you exactly how the plan looks like. Hi, this is Austin. Welcome to my channel. When the market crashes, most people panic. I know, because I used to be one of them. I have watched my portfolio drop thousands in a single week. I have seen red numbers that made my stomach sink. And have had those moments where I wondered, should I sell before it gets worse? But over the years, I have learned that market crashes on the end, they are the test. So, in this video, I'm not going to predict the next crashes, because honestly, no one can. What I'm going to share is exactly what I will do if VOO or QQQ crashes again. These are the habits, mindset, and actions that keep me calm, consistent, and even optimistic when the markets fall apart. The last big crashes I lived through taught me more than any investing book ever could. It was during the early months of 2020. One week, everything looked normal, and the next, my portfolio was down nearly 30%. I remember checking my account late at night. It felt unreal. All these months of strategy progress just vanished in days. At first, I panicked. I kept refreshing the numbers. I even hovered over the sell button. But something stopped me. I thought about what I was really investing for. Not for the next week, not for the next month, but for my future self. That night changes everything for me, because I realized the real danger in a crash isn't losing money, it's losing focus. So today, if the market crashes again, I already know how I will do. Let me walk you through it, step by step. The first thing I will do when VOO or QQQ crashes again is nothing. Absolutely nothing. That might sound strange, but it's the hardest and most powerful thing an investor can do. When everyone is panicking, the best move is often to sit still. Because selling in fear usually locks in losses, but staying calm keeps your options open. During a crash, our brains crave control. We think, I have to do something. But usually, the best something is do nothing at all. When the prices fall, I don't sell, I don't check my account every hour. I just take a deep breath, remind myself that it's happened before, and it will happen again. The market always recovers. Always. So the first thing I will do in the next crashes is exactly what worked in the last one. I will stay still and let my patience do the work. Once I have calmed down, the next thing I will do is recheck my system, not stock, but my strategy. I will look at three things: my emergency fund, my cash flow, and my contribution plan. If my emergency fund is solid, I won't need to touch my investments. That's what gives me peace of mind. Then I will make sure my monthly investments are still automatic, because if I am still contributing, the crash doesn't stop my progress, it accelerates it. And finally, I will double check my mindset. Am I reacting to fear or am I following my process? A crash doesn't test the market, it tests you. So when it happens, I don't analyze chat, I analyze my behavior. If I can stay disciplined when everyone else panics, I have already won half of battle. The third thing I will do, and this is key, is I will keep buying. Every single month, just like before. I have trained myself to see a crash not as a loss, but as a discount. If I love buying VOO and QQQ when prices were high, why should I stop when they are cheaper? It's like buying your favorite brand when it's on sale. You wouldn't walk away, you'd buy more. That's how I treat market crashes now. When others see pain, I see opportunity. And it's not because I enjoy losing value, no one does. It's because I know what comes next. Every bear market has eventually turned into a bull market. Every crash has eventually led to new highs. So when it happens again, I will keep buying, quietly, consistently, without fear. Because crashes build character, but they also build wealth. After that, the first thing I will do is to reflect, not react. I will use the crash as a mirror to understand myself better as an investor. Every crash teaches you something new. You learn how much volatility you can handle, you learn how you think about money, and you learn how strong your patience really is. For me, every market drop has exposed to my weakness, but also built my strength. I remember during one downturn, I realized the reason I felt anxious wasn't the market, it was my phone. I was checking prices every hour, watching every red candle, and letting it affect my emotions. So I deleted my finance app for a month, and you know what happened? Nothing, except peace of mind. That's when I realized most of the stress from investing is self-inflicted. So next time there is a crash, I will take time to reflect. What am I feeling? Why am I feeling it? And what can I do better next time? Because that's how you can turn every crash into a lesson instead of a loss. The fifth thing I will do after a crash is strengthen my future plan. A market drop is like an audit. It reveals your weakness. If I feel too anxious, maybe I need more cash reserve. If I feel underinvested, maybe I need to come in more regularly. If I feel uncertain, maybe I need to study more. Crashes don't just take money, they give you information. So once the dust settles, I use that information to rebuild stronger. I remove my goals, I check my budget, and I ask myself, how can I prepare better for the next one? Because one day, there will be another one, and when it happens, I want to be ready, financially and emotionally. If you told me years ago that I had Bitcoin during a market crash, I would have left. But now I honestly see them differently. A crash isn't a failure, it's a reset. It's a moment that separates investor who cares money from investor who views wealth. Because anyone can invest during good times, but real growth comes from staying steady during the bad times. That's why I don't fear crashes anymore. I respect them. Because they remind me why I started this journey in the first place, to build a system that works through chaos, not around it. If I can sum it all out in one sentence, it would be this. When the market crashes, don't focus on what you have lost, focus on what you are learning. Every turn has made me a better investor, a calmer person, and a stronger decision maker. So the next time VOO and QQQ crashes, I already know what I will do. I will stay still, I will stay consistent, and I will stay curious. Because surviving a crash isn't about avoiding pain, it's about finding purpose through it. So that's what I will do if VOO or QQQ crashes again. I won't panic, I won't sell. I will use it as a chance to test my discipline, refine my system, and strengthen my plan. Because in the end, crashes don't destroy wealth, they transfer it from the impatient to the patient. Every time I have stayed invested, I have come out stronger, and the next crash will be no different. Because while everyone else is running for the assets, I'll be right there. Still holding, still buying, still believing. Thanks for watching, and remember, you don't need to be feared for the next crash, you just need to be ready for it. I'm Austin, and see you next week.